Hello, everyone. I'm the clerk with the mouth, David C., and we're here with the first issue of Comics Are Garbage. If it sounds a little weird, it's because, other than what's being showed on the screen, I'm actually recording this in my car. Why am I recording it in my car, you ask? Well, that's because I come from a broken home, and I can't do it there. By broken home, I mean, the ceiling's fucking leaking, the furniture's falling apart, our pets' heads are falling off! It's a bad time. So I apologize if it sounds a little weird, but when you think a show by David C. Millay, you think audio problems. So let's keep that consistent. Today we're going to be talking about the Jason X comic books, the 3 issues that were made. First was the Jason X special in November of 2005, and then there was 2 issues which are a direct sequel to that, called Jason vs. Jason X in March and June 2006, respectively. Yes, Jason vs. Jason X. Once again, implying that Uber Jason's name is Jason X, even though they call him Uber Jason in those comics, but then they also call him Jason X at times, so you can tell already it's going to be a fucking mess. How can you guarantee it's going to be a fucking mess? Because all 3 of these comics were made and released by Avatar Press. Now, Avatar Press is a small indie company that concentrates more on seeing how many covers they can release with every issue, instead of making sure that any of those issues are actually good. Who needs 100 different covers to collect when you don't want to buy a single one because it's fucking garbage? Avatar Press also specializes, but not, completely, to making adaptations of films, mostly horror and some other ones. Bad art, bad writing, Avatar Press. They are a fucking mess, but in a way, such a mess that you still want to read them just to see how bad they really are. And that's why I'm going to save you the time and money and just show you how bad they are on this fucking episode of Comics Are Garbage. So let's start with the Jason X special, number 1. There wasn't a number 2 or anything after that, so they should have just called it Jason X special. Alright, we start out on Earth 2, 2455 AD. It picks up right from the end of the movie when Uber Jason is burned up in the atmosphere and lands on Earth 2 from space. And we see his mask, but apparently they ignore that because he's whole and in one piece. So the couple that see him and say, hey, let's go see what that was at the end of the movie, we follow them, and they decide to just start fucking because, as the chick says, science makes me horny. So they just start fucking for absolutely no reason, and then Uber Jason shows up and throws a fucking tree at them and kills them. Then it takes a swerve, and we find out that was all a VR simulation. One thing you'll notice amongst the bad art is that almost all of the outfits are directly lifted from the movie. I mean, it's one thing, yes, if those characters in the movie dress like that, then that's probably, common clothes that other people would wear too. But it just seems kind of lazy that they all wear the same exact outfits. Like, they couldn't come up with any newer ideas of their own, so they just directly ripped off everything from the movie itself. Unlike the Jason in the Jason X movie, Jason here hears his mother's voice talking to him, like in the Friday the 13th franchise. We don't really get that in the New Line movies, but in Jason X especially, we don't get his mother's voice in there. It's weird that he hears that throughout this issue. So basically this issue is just Uber Jason, going around killing a bunch of androids and simulations on this ship. Eventually he's captured by Chrissy, and she actually did all this to capture Jason to get a tissue sample because of his regeneration abilities. She'll be able to save her husband Neil, and apparently there's some kind of plague going on, irony, with the people, and she thinks Jason can cure what's going on. Of course that backfires and everybody dies. What, were you expecting a noise or something? This isn't that show. This is a different show. Sorry, it's not going to happen. So it's weird that she gives the tissue sample to Neil, and then he starts talking like, almost turns into a Jason clone and can hear Pamela's voice, and then it just kind of leaves them because Jason gets jettisoned back into space and lands on a party ship, and then he kills some people on the party ship, and then it ends. Well, did that seem half-assed and really, really dumb? Well, then hold on to your butts, because the next two issues are going to get even fucking worse. Jason versus Jason X. Alright, we open up with Melda and her crew are on the Grundle, or the Grundle, the ship from Jason X the movie, and they're trying to salvage what they can, kind of like in Jason X. They originally went to Earth and trying to salvage stuff, found Jason's body, blah, blah, blah. Well, even though whatever the guy's name was and KM, the robot's head, at the end of the movie were still on the Grundle, as far as I can remember, it's been a while since I've watched the movie, they're not here. They're never mentioned or seen on the ship. So they're on the ship looking for stuff. And Jason's original head that got blown off in the movie is somehow still in a decent piece. Gets rattled loose and falls into the regeneration pod. And using all the corpses around it, instead of making another Uber Jason, it recreates Jason into his original human body, I guess you would say. Non-Uber body. So, Lift Jason. So, Uber Jason versus Lift Jason here is what this two-issue series is about. And literally, the two comics are just Jason going around killing people, Uber Jason going around killing people, and Melda and her crew getting killed and trying to stop it. And eventually, they just kind of give up and forget how comics work, because all the frames just start blurring into each other, and the art just gets fucking worse, and there just ceases to be any dialogue or plot or anything, and it just gets really fucking bad, really fucking quick. And eventually, at the end of issue 1, Jason and Uber Jason meet. So then on to issue 2, which is pretty much just one long fight scene with those two on the ship. So, I mean, really, when you think about it, just about nobody can beat Jason. So if you have an upgraded version with Uber Jason, so you have the two fighting each other, but the one is far superior, it's fucking obvious that Uber Jason is going to win. So why did they think this was even going to be an even battle or even have a point at all? So Uber Jason basically murders the fuck out of regular Jason, and then it just kind of ends. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing more to it. It was just, it seems like a good idea on paper until you put it on paper and draw some shitty pictures around it, and then it just turns out really fucking bad. So, terrible art, terrible writing, terrible everything. Jason X the comics, they're simpler than the novels, but they're still awful. And I can't recommend reading them at all. I mean, take your curiosity, shove it up your ass, because it's better off up there than reading these fucking comics. Side note, in issue 1 of Jason vs. Jason X, there's an onomatopoeia that just says MILF, which was kind of a weird word to use for an onomatopoeia. I mean, I guess somebody could look at Betsy Palmer and say that she was a MILF. I mean, I would have done her just because, but I'm lonely. Anyway, alright, thanks for listening and watching, guys. And until next time, and if you want any suggestions of any comics you think I should read or review, just let me know. Let me know on the Facebook page, or just leave a comment on this video on YouTube, whatever you want to do. Just let me know. I've been the Clerk with the Mouth, David C. I'll see you guys later. Bye.